the older talents that worked for Vince Sr. There was classy Freddie Blassie. There was Gorilla Monsoon, Pat Patterson, Killer Kowalski, Ernie Ladd. We found an old arena in Albany, and I had those guys go up there, and I shot this spot that was very powerful. It begins with, I can still hear the echoes cheering my name. Time has not silenced the crowd. I never did a moonsault, nor walked the top rope. We never flew through the air. So at this point, he's showing our modern day guys today. We were men of courage, men of steel. They are men without fear. I can still hear the echoes cheering my name, but today I cheer for them. So Vince finds out and calls Kevin Dunn and says, what the fuck is Sahadi doing with all the old timers up there at Albany? We're about the young generation right now. And Kevin Dunn goes, Vince, I don't know, but he's got a good track with us in the past 3.5 years, so I'm sure it's going to be good. So Vince comes down to look at it about 4 days later, and he's as angry as can be. He comes in there, he's got the whole, posture like this. He's with Pat Patterson, he's with Shane. And we played it, and he was in Jim Johnson's room, so I made sure Jim Johnson had it nice and loud so he could feel it. And 10 seconds in, Vince like, oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. And he left before it finished. He left before the tag page. I turned to Shane and said, Shane, does he hate it? He goes, Sahadi, you got him. You got him. And Conrad, I swear, I walked outside the studio, and Vince was sitting down on the concrete floor, crying hysterically, just saying, thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I went up to told Kevin. He says, good job, Kevin. I went to see it. 15 minutes later in the stairwell, Vince is still sitting down in a different spot now, crying, saying, thank you. Thank you. And I think the reason why, Conrad, I didn't know at the time, but not only was the spot a passing of the torch from the old generation to the new generation, but I think on a visceral level, Vince probably felt like it was a passing of the torch from his father and to what Vince did when he took it and made it national and global. And I think that's why it resonated with Vince so much and it evoked so much emotion out of him.
What was your first meeting with Vince like? What was your initial impression of him? I mean, you're a guy who grew up watching wrestling, but you've been in quote unquote real sports for so long, and everybody heard things. What was your initial impression of Vince?
Yeah, he was a hoot. Like my first impression was when I went for a meeting with him. Flip was there, and he's dressed in sweatpants in his office. He's playing with this like little roller car or something, and he's just telling me how great this job is, how wonderful it would be to have me, how we like to have fun here, all that kind of stuff. I mean, he did a really great sales pitch. He was friendly, he was outgoing, he was jovial, and John Filippelli goes, Vince, make it sound so good. I want that job. But my initial impression with Vince was good, and it still was up until the very end. So for about a year, I was feeling a sense of like unhappiness and just wanted to take a break. And I went to Kevin Dunn's office and told him I needed a break, and he thought I was joking. I said, no, I'm serious. And he goes, no, you don't. I said, Kevin, I need some time off. I don't like the environment right now. I just want to get my head clear. I'm a little burnt out. Just, let me have some time off. He goes, you're serious, aren't you? I said, yes. And he goes, okay, I'll give you 4 weeks. How about that? So Kevin, it could be, no, he goes, I'll give you 3 months if you want. Come back after 3 months. And I said, no, because I'll be counting down the days. I'll say there's 89, 88, 87, 86. I said, it could be 3 months, Kevin. It could be 2, it could be 4. I don't know. But I need to go out there without a limit. So he goes, you are serious. So, okay, let's just say 1 month. And I said, great, thank you. I want to finish that Brock Lesnar spot with the Shark. And I want to go tell Vince right now. He goes, oh, you can't tell Vince at all. I said, why? He goes, something this big, I got to figure out a way to tell Vince. And so Kevin knew for 4 weeks I was leaving. This is one little sore spot I have with Kevin, but I don't think he told Vince until it was 3 days before my final day. So in Vince's mind, I didn't give a 4-week notice with the willingness to come back. I gave like a notice that week. And Vince wouldn't even look at me at that point. I passed him in the hall. He wouldn't even make eye contact with me. He was so angry.
And then fast forward, you told us your exit. And of course, Kevin Dunn's involved in that as well.
We were great friends, just so you know, just put that in there. I hung out with Kevin Dunn all the time. He bought a house right next to mine. We were good friends. I disagree with a lot of Kevin's morals, but he, Chris Chambers, and I hung out nearly every single weekend up until I gave the notice.
And then it was like you were out.
Yep.
That's the cult thing you were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, I
They
feel
tried,
like,
they tried to bring me back twice just to reiterate, but I just
right.
wasn't ready at the time with the jobs and the level that they wanted me to be at. I didn't want to have to report to Big, where I thought I was far more talented than he was.
Did you feel like, um, Filippelli maybe would have represented, I don't know, was he a threat to Kevin Dunn standing in the company, do you think?
If I had to guess, I would say this, Conrad. Kevin Dunn thought that he was owed that position. And Kevin Dunn's very talented. I got to give him credit for that. Very talented as producer in the truck. Also knowing whenever we talk ideas, what was good and what wasn't. He also talked Vince out of a lot of bad ideas. I mean, Kevin Dunn's a very, very talented man.
I think he's misunderstood. And that's the reason I was saying I don't want it to feel like we're just dunking on him here, because I've had the opportunity to meet and have conversations with him a handful of times, and I get the sense that he's all business and no nonsense, but I didn't really feel as if he was a jerk. But I have talked to other people that in the industry, and they feel like he, put it mildly, is a political animal. Would that be a fair way to frame it?
I would say that he kind of was a bully too, to some of the employees, and he kind of relished that role. He enjoyed that. He enjoyed being a heel to a lot of lower level people.
And
I think it goes back to when he was a child. He was picked on a lot, and Big was one of the guys that stood up for him when it came to fights, which is why they're such good friends. But I think Kevin, as he was growing up, was a bully because he had a overgrown tooth, something like that, whatever you call that. And
no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. But as a child, kids are going to ridicule you for that. So
Yes.
I think he became a bully once he became in a position of power, just getting back at like how he was bullied his entire life.
Well, I only bring up the political animal thing because I think I read an interview with you once where you described Filippelli's exit as a coup pulled by Kevin Dunn. Is that fair? You still think it was
fair? Yeah. I don't know the details, but I mean, just my sense. Yeah. Fair.
Sure. And from your perspective, did you feel like it was, did you feel like you were bullied out of a position or politicked out of a position? Because it feels as if you're coming from a good place of going to your quote unquote superior Kevin Dunn and saying, hey man, I'm kind of not feeling super creative. I'm a little burnt out. I need to take a break. I can't say for how long, but I need to take a break. And then it almost feels like it sort of gets turned around. Okay, you're leaving.
Yeah. I think Kevin thought of it while we were talking as a way of giving my job to John Gaburick.
I see.
I think that's what he was thinking. So it's like, yeah, I don't want to lose Sahadi, but guess what? My best friend now gets a full-time job. He'll be the head of on-air promotion.